Twan Walker. Twan, we're talking two of your favorite teams, your former teams. Not sure about your favorite, definitely your former. I read it wrong. Celtics and Heat knotted up at 2 games apiece. That's what I do, Twan. Celtics absolutely dominated in Game 4, holding the Heat starters to 18 points combined. The Game 5 back in Miami tonight. Not sure if you'll be there or not, but I got to ask you, who you got here, Celtics or Heat?
I like the Celtics tonight. I think if the Celtics, especially if they're 100% and everybody's playing tonight, I like the Celtics to take control of this series. It goes back to the beginning when we was breaking down this series. I don't like the Miami Heat's ability to score the basketball. Jimmy Butler has to have one of those magical performances like he had in Game 1 for them to even have a chance tonight to me. With Tyler Hero being banged up, a guy who's their second leading scorer that hasn't played well, I think throughout the playoffs he's struggled. They need some more scoring. Victor Oladipo looks like he's starting to come to life, but Kyle Lowry not being there offensively really hurts them. And then on top of that, I don't like what Bam's at. Bam struggles against Robert Williams for whatever reason. He's really struggled, especially in this series against him. And if you're not going to get production from Bam Adebayo, then it becomes really, really difficult for them to win. I just do not think the Miami Heat can muster up enough offense to beat the Boston Celtics. And I think if the Celtics are whole and Marcus Smart is back in the lineup with a Robert Williams, it becomes evident that the Celtics are going to take control of the series and win the night.
Well, listen, I'm not sure if you can rely on Robert Williams to play, a bunch of games in a row at this point. He's been in and out of the lineup all series. You're right. He's done a good job against Bam. Bam's one great game was without Robert Williams. You mentioned Tyler Hero hasn't been playing well since the start of the playoffs. I'll get it in. Our great statistician, Dusty, can give you the actual numbers on Twitter. Call me D-Block. Tyler Hero's gone in a massive slump since Jack Harlow's latest album came out. Jack Harlow once name-dropped Tyler Hero, so maybe extra pressure on him. Not sure if the correlation, causation, but the numbers don't lie on that one. However, I am going with the Heat tonight with a slight hedge that even though Brew wants to jump on me, I think he'll allow it. I believe the Heat will win tonight and are the better team if Jimmy Butler is close to 100%. Jimmy Butler, if he is anything like he was in Game 4, then that's a series-changing fact. Jimmy Butler, Antoine's right. They don't have enough offense without Jimmy Butler. They are a team that struggles to score, and Jimmy is, you say you don't know if you can rely on him to have another massive night. He's had 3 40-point games this playoffs. Up until the last 2 games where he only played one half and then he was a shell of himself in Game 4, he was averaging north of 30 points per game this postseason on really good efficiency. I do think you can rely on a healthy Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler misses the game, obviously, or even if he plays, but it looks like he did in Game 4, where he had, looked like 30% of himself, then the Heat are dead. But if healthy, I believe the Heat are the better team. I believe they are the more consistent team. I believe they are as well as Boston is coached, I believe they're the better coach team. That's not a knock on Udoka. It's just that Spoelstra might be maybe the best coach in the league. Is that fair? It's certainly on the short list. So I like Miami tonight because I like them at home. I like them bouncing back. Brew, you have mentioned Boston has had a tendency win-loss throughout this entire postseason. Well, it's round 2 to round 3. So for all those reasons, I like Miami with the caveat of if Butler is not Butler, then of course they're in massive, massive trouble.
Okay, of course, Boston could be without 2 starters, Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. However, Nick, the bylaws will allow your little hedge, okay? Because, yeah, obviously, if Jimmy Butler and himself
a superstar
will allow, the bylaws will allow it. I don't necessarily agree with the bylaws on this one, but they will allow it. But you know why they'll allow it? Because it don't matter. It don't matter. I told you last week it's over. And everybody wanted to come at me, oh, it's over, it's over. Did you see Game 4? Did you? Yeah, I saw it. I predict when I said it was over, I said Miami will win one more game. And they did. Now Boston's going to win the next 2. Because as Twan said, they are the better team. They've already proven, number one, they can win on the road. twice in Milwaukee, once in Miami already. As Nick mentioned and alluded to, the health, both teams obviously banged up, but the health of Miami is more of a concern because Boston's two best players, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, are fine. Jimmy Butler, who knows what you're going to get out of him? And then your second leading scorer might be out in Tyler Hero. So, and then, like I said, they're clearly just the better team. Wilds can go to the quarters if he wants to, however you want to slice it. But for a few bad stretches, Boston has been the better team, and they'll show it tonight. I do think Jason Tatum, Nick, breaks his streak. What was he? Bad, good, bad, good. I think he goes out and plays well tonight, great tonight, and Boston wins, Wilds.
I think Boston will roll, and I will relish the Celtics' victory with a caveat. The Celtics are not playing a full Heat team, and it's just kind of a bummer. And I don't know if the solution for the NBA is to build in more rest days, but there's been so many blowouts here, and a lot of it has to do with the three-point shot, I get it. A lot of it has to do with just guys aren't 100%. Here's the tweet that the Miami Heat put out last night. So perhaps things changed overnight. Everybody got a good night's rest. You got Lowry with his hamstring. In 2 games, he's shot 26%, 31% from 3, and scored a total of 14 points. Strauss is hurting. Gabe Vincent's got a hamstring. PJ Tucker's got a knee. He had that huge air cast thing on the other day. Tyler Hero, I would be shocked if he played. All listed as questionable. And when it comes to Jimmy, man, Nick, I don't think we're going to get the same Jimmy. Ever since he missed that half, he's been tough. Games 1 for 2, he was aggressive. He was getting to the line.
He's not
like, man,
fouls.
he's hitting shots, and if not, he's getting to the line. Here, he can't. He's a different guy. He's not 100%. I don't care how much big face coffee you drink.
It's really concerning.
So I think the Celtics are going to roll,
that part's true.
and I'm going to like it. But I'm going to feel a little bit like, I hope the Heat are whole. I think we all NBA fans want to see a good series with 2 teams battling it out, not another blowout, which the series has been defined by. So, Antoine, I'm sorry, you're leaving too. See, everyone, if you have any Heat sort of like on your resume, like Antoine or the actual players, you end up having some real problems, whether you're getting dropped off the Zoom
Antoine had
or you
a
have a hamstring injury. So, I'm kind of bummed out by the Celtics.
I'm sure. I do have a question, though, if we get Antoine back or for the panel as a whole. If the Heat win tonight, is that going to be enough for this show and the general media to say,
yes,
maybe they're good? 1 game away from the finals, went to the finals 2 years ago, number 1 seed in the East. If they win tonight, Brew, let me ask you this. If they win tonight, will it be enough for you to say, you know what? The Heat might not only be able to win the series, maybe they can win the title? If they are 1 game away from the finals, will you give them the old Deontay Wilder puncher's chance to win the title? Or will they still be a nice little team down in southern Florida that nobody thinks is actually that good? I'm just curious.
They're a good team, all right? They are, and they got heart, and they got grit and all of that. And like you said, they're well coached, okay? If they get to the finals, I'm just throwing it out there to humor you. They're not. I'll humor you, though. If they get to the finals, sure, puncher's chance. But I'll pick, along with just about everybody else,
even against
Golden
Dallas?
State.
What about Miami-Dallas?
Here we go.
What if we get that?
I mean, my goodness. Yeah, maybe the Lakers will be in the final. I mean, that's what we're talking pure fantasy.
I almost got him to give a pick there. Oh, he's opening up his eyes.
An alien.
Oh, I almost got him.
Alien at Wild's breakfast table. Alien
Never
at Wild's
answer a
breakfast
question
table. Game
by
5 tonight in South Beach. The all NBA teams, guys, were announced yesterday.